Conquering coronavirus. An Arizona couple took matters into their own hands.
Yeah, Jamie is live this morning with the remedy this couple used and what doctors are now saying about this. Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning to you. We hear a lot about the major cases of COVID, the deaths, the hospital stays, but for many, this is something that you can treat at home. We talked to Dr. Art Mullen about what to do if you get COVID. He says one of the first things you need to do is quarantine for 10 to 14 days. He says if you have breathing problems, shortness of breath, or chest pains, that is when you go to the hospital, not only to get treated, but also those symptoms could be the sign of something else like a heart attack. Scottsdale couple Mark and Sandy Yapazovic experienced COVID in March. Mark got it after a trip to see his son in New York. Sandy's immune system is compromised because she beat cancer almost 2 decades ago. Mark says he was prescribed the hydroxychloroquine Z-Pak combo along with some zinc at a Scottsdale hospital, and his naturopath recommended a nebulizer.
I also did a breathing treatment from the Invita Natural Medical Center in addition to that. And after 2 weeks of quarantine and going through the treatment, I got another double lung x-ray done. I was 100% clear on my lungs, no scarring, and I had no side effects from any of the medications at all.
Sandy was also doing 2 breathing treatments a day on that nebulizer for about 10 days. She never got COVID from her husband. And if you have a mild case of COVID, Dr. Art Mullen says you likely already have what you need to treat it at home.
The treatment really is just simply Tylenol, ibuprofen, minimal treatment for the COVID if the symptoms are mild at home. If the symptoms become more progressive, of course, then you're going to want to go to see your doctor and perhaps even go to the emergency room.
Dr. Art says you should have your heart looked at a month or 2 after you recovered. In fact, it's not a bad idea to do a full body checkup. He says children are commonly losing their sense of smell or taste, so that is one to watch as they go back to class. Now, when I see you again in the next hour, we're going to talk about some of the symptoms that people are experiencing even after they've recovered from COVID. Back to you.
The coronavirus, but one Arizona couple claims they have a remedy after taking matters into their own hands when they both contracted the virus. So Jamie is live with the remedy this couple used and, more importantly, what doctors are saying about it. Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning to you. You know, a lot of children, they're losing their sense of smell and taste when they get COVID. So that's something to watch for as the kids go back to school. But for many people, the symptoms are mild enough to be treated at home. We talked to Dr. Art Mullen about the first thing to do if you get COVID. And he says that is to quarantine for 10 to 14 days. He says if you have breathing problems, shortness of breath, or chest pains, that is when you should go to the hospital, not only to be treated, but also those symptoms could be something else like a heart attack. Scottsdale couple Mark and Sandy Yazapovic experienced COVID in March. Mark got it after a trip to see his son in New York. Sandy's immune system is compromised because she beat cancer almost 2 decades ago. Mark says he was prescribed the hydroxychloroquine Z-Pak combo along with some zinc at a Scottsdale hospital. And his naturopath recommended a nebulizer for both Mark and Sandy.
Our Dr. Prado, he sent over, and Dr. Ertley from Invita Medical Center, the nebulizer with the breathing treatment. So Mark had one and I had one. And I was just doing the breathing nebulizing, 2 treatments a day for the next week to 10 days to 2 weeks. And I've never had it, never had any symptoms.
Mark says he had no scarring of his lungs and no side effects from the medicine. And if you get a mild case of COVID, Dr. Art Mullen says you likely have what you need to treat at home.
The treatment really is just simply Tylenol, ibuprofen, minimal treatment for the COVID if the symptoms are mild at home. If the symptoms become more progressive, of course, then you're going to want to go to see your doctor and perhaps even go to the emergency room.
Now, Dr. Art says a month or so after you have recovered, you should go see your doctor, have your heart looked at, have a full checkup. And just because you have recovered from COVID does not mean you're out of the woods when it comes to symptoms. Many people are still experiencing anxiety, depression, and fatigue. Back to you.